I would say staying
we're
motivated.
seeing a lot of wrong. Yeah, it's staying motivated too. A lot of times it's getting motivated.
Yes, sir.
Get motivated.
Right.
I don't have times, bro, when I don't kind of lost my motivation for things.
Yes.
And
Right.
Get back in that space. That's why they say stay around people that's like-minded.
Yes.
Because if you, I don't care if we positive people. If we get in a space where we don't have people that's pushing us, like you were saying earlier, keep pushing. Man, it can put you in a different space where you get comfortable and you're not even growing anymore. I've been in that situation too, around positive people, but we wasn't pushing each other. So I had to go in a different environment for somebody to push me. So, you know what I mean? Like us right now, sitting at this table.
Yes, look at you now.
Right now, I'm talking, you thinking right now.
Right.
Thinking. So, see, this positivity is going to bounce off.
Yes.
That's kind of what I want to hit on.
Well, that's how it is, man. The universe, it returns back to what's the positive to it. It gives back what's the positive to it. What they say, reap what you sow, whatever they want to say, karma, whatever words you want to put on it. Don't expect tomatoes if you plant an orange, if you got an orange tree. It just don't happen that way.
Right.
So you get out of everything. So everything you put in your mind, I am, I can, I will. Take away, I can't. Take away, I won't. Take away, they always did. As you just say, hey, they used to always do this. Then all of a sudden, that could be a conversation. Do you remember when they used to do that all the time? They don't even do that no more because they mindset, a collective mindset.
Right. You're right. I agree. Because a person's mindset is determined how they perceive reality. And we all basically saying the same thing, like your thoughts. If you don't watch them, your thoughts will turn into an action.
Your thoughts shape your reality.
Right. It turns into an action.
Yes,
and
sir.
your action will shape your character. And your character determines your destiny.
Yes.
And that's true. And it's in that order. And we all basically, like I said, we're saying the same thing. It starts with the mind and having control of our own mind. And that's another thing that goes on, that's happening in society. It's the acceptance. Being able to accept when you are wrong or being admonished or whatever the situation is. Acceptance is really hard in black communities, man. You know what I mean? Because everybody pretty much been through the same turmoil, so everybody wants the same thing. So it's hard for somebody to take the back row when everybody have a role that they have to play, and that's where the unity comes in. Man, I mean it's a lot that goes with it.
This just came to me.
There's a lot that goes with it.
This just came to me, though, right? The reason why you have that, you won't have those hard, peel off the layers of the onion type conversation, because who wants to be wrong? Who wants to be ugly?
Right.
Who wants to be perverted?
Right.
Who wants to be nasty? Who wants to be guilty? Who wants to be wrong?
Right.
Who wants to be used to be a liar? You don't want nobody to pull them covers off, because for you to have that conversation with your daughter or your son about something, you may have to pull off a little bit of covers about, well, I did this. I'm not proud of it, but this is what happened. And that's why you probably doing that, or that's probably why you gravitate toward that. Those ugly conversations. But when everybody posting social media and stuff like that, how many ugly pictures do you scroll across unless they're making fun of somebody? Right? You're going to get people's best. They want you to see them at their best.
I agree with you, bro. Like, man, y'all brothers going so hard tonight. But
my bad.
I want to say that, kind of like, like y'all talking about the mentality.
Yes, sir.
Just like you was mentioning about a child. Sometimes, man, I look at my baby, I just see myself all over. You know what I mean? And you want to, you know what I mean? You can't do that but laugh to yourself, right?
Same thing with my son.
Right. You can't beat yourself out of them. Like, that's you, too. That's how you were.
You.
And that goes back to what you were saying, Sheldon. You was talking about, like, you have to have these conversations, but that's being real, because that won't they'll at least likely set them up for failure. That'll set them up for success. Oh man, my daddy had this situation too. Well, okay, well, it's not so bad. That's help for them. But if you try to sugarcoat stuff and, present yourself in this light, well, like you say, you don't have. I don't want to admit that I had these situations too. Then all it does is set them up for failure. You know what I mean? And,
right. Because we're trying to hide something
against themselves.
Yeah, because we're trying to hide something, or we make mistakes. We make them. Everyone does. Everyone does, but because we put on this, I guess this armor of perfection, and we're just all that in a bag of chips. Sometimes we don't even want even our kids to know that part of us or know that side of us, right? So we don't even mention those things. But sometimes some stuff is necessary. But you have to be wise enough to know how much to share, when to share it, how much they can handle, when they can handle it, because we don't know what they're going through. We don't know what these kids handling. They're at school all day. We don't know what they're dealing with and what they're handling.
Right.
So again,
I believe in purity, man, myself. I speak the truth if it's against myself, because I believe in purity. And then having children, it increases it, because, like I said, when you look at society and you look at how corrupt it is, you want purity, you want change, because you don't want your kids to grow up in that same cycle. You shouldn't. You know what I mean? So yeah, like you said, and then it all starts with the mind.
Your thought process, man. It's your thought process. It's what shapes you.
Right.
How do you perceive it? How do you perceive it? And I say this, and I'm just on that so much. Again, this show is called Think About It Radio.
Right.
That was so important to me, man, to put out a show to just say, man, can we just start using some common sense with how we approach life? Can we just start using some sense with how we do things and how we deal with things? If something will be hurtful to you, it's probably going to be hurtful if you do it to somebody else. If something's going to piss you off, it's probably going to piss you off if you do that to somebody else. If something is rude to you, it's probably going to be rude if you're the person that's doing it. A lot of times, though, man, we go back and forth and we just think that we are all perfect. And again, everybody else is the problem. Because we do not want to look in that mirror and say, man, I got a pimple. So you're not going to look in the mirror all day. You're not going to look at yourself. You don't even want to look at that. Ooh, that's nasty. I don't want to look at that. Ooh, look at that. I don't look my best. Mess around and get a bad haircut. You're going to wear a hat everywhere. But you mess around and get lined up and be creased up real tight when he got you just crispy. You want to go everywhere. Baby, I go to the store. Don't worry about it. I go. I got it. You want to be everywhere because you feel clean.
Right.
You feel crispy. But when you don't feel as good, you don't feel as fly, you don't feel as fresh, you don't want to have those conversations. You don't want that to show, right? You know what I mean? And folk be putting out them posts, I woke up like this. No, you woke up with bad breath and matter in your eye. That's the truth. You didn't wake up funky fresh. You didn't wake up with your fresh face all fresh, your hair all clean. You woke up with some funky breath. And some bugs in your eye, some cooker bugs that they used to call them in the country, some cracker jacks in your eye. That's what you got. So we don't want that ugly truth exposed. You go talk to somebody when you first wake up in the morning, they're going to turn away from you. Man, your breath is funky. So we don't want that raw, that funkiness. We don't want to have that conversation because, again, we fly. We ain't nothing wrong with us. That's why everything just still works. So just because we don't talk about the issues, it's still an issue. Hey, Mom, Dad, I'm pregnant. Oh, Lord. We don't talk about it no more. Within 9 months, it don't matter if you talk about it. Goo goo gaga.
Right. Or you can deal with the person. You know what I mean? Like, it's like you said.
Yes.
Like, see, and going back to what Vincent said, too.
Yes, sir.
Both of y'all, because you saying not having these real talks, and, like Vincent said, we don't, we conditioned not to even want to, show this part or this face. But, man, we kill it. And, we talked about that before, Shelton, when Vincent wasn't on the show. Just that alone was enough to know that if I know I got flaws, just like the other person, but we ain't got to focus on that. And that's going back to the mind, too. Yeah, we can talk about these things, but let's focus on also the things that the positive things that we can do. What about the good things?
Right.
So a lot of times we wake up and complain a lot, bro. We start off the day complaining about what's wrong. This is why this road rage. What's wrong with my job? We talk about all these different things, all these complaints, but we never even look at our blessings sometimes.
Because we shaped our reality.
Like you having a roof over your head.
Yes.
You having health, and like
enough gas in the car.
Somebody's sleeping under a bridge tonight, bro.
Yes.
You have a roof over your head.
Having
you're blessed, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now you always want to improve and strive, But at the same time, think about that. And think about this. I'm going to say this. You know, you can change the dynamics even with this show. And just like when you start off this show, bro.
Yes, sir.
I mean, I'm already in the spirit, but when you start out crunk like that cranks me up even more. I'm telling you, you know.
Right,
like a smile, bro. People don't know how something simple as a smile. I read a saying one time to say a smile is charity. Man,
right.
What is it going to hurt you to smile and say, hey, thank you. Have a nice day. You'll never lose no value, even if the person don't respond. Actually, you don't gain a blessing because you done did a good deed. But how many times we think, man, I ain't smiling, I ain't. So this can change the dynamics, bro. You can turn a negative into a positive. So to speak,
because
if you put your mind to it.
Yep. That's what I tell everyone. Everyone I talk to, your mind. That's where it starts at. And that's the most important thing, and that's the thing that we don't value enough. We don't feed enough. We don't feed it enough. We get subliminal messages of crap all day long through television and other little stuff, man. What are we feeding our mind? We feeding our mind McDonald's. That's why it's not healthy. We feeding it the appetite of destruction. So then what do you think you're going to have? Destructive behavior. Destructive results. Go ahead, Mr. Booker.
Yeah, I would say like what both of y'all saying. Also, man, I look at a factor is also it's in everybody religion there's a prescription of what we supposed to do. No matter if you're a Christian or Muslim or Jew, no matter what religion you are, and even though there's a prescription, there's a way that you do it. And if those tenets were actually practiced, some of these conversations we wouldn't even be having them. So really, also what we have a lot of people out here that claim religion, but nobody is really practicing it. But if we practice any of the religions that we profess to believe in, it'll rid some of these problems we have in our society. So really, that's what we're looking at. We're looking at a whole society of people that say they believe in God, but ain't nobody following the tenets. Because all of them are basically the same. Do unto others as you would have them to do unto you, right? That's going to build up character. That's build up esteem. That builds up everything. You know what I mean? And it'll rid some of the problems. So that's like when we're dealing with black communities, we have so many different problems that we can't find one common thing to come together on. And that's what I would say, dealing with black community. We got to find that one common thing that we fight for, and let's fight for that.
But you put a point, though. I mean, but to I guess to say something against that point, though, is that the reason why there's so much scatteredness, and because there are so many issues. There are so many things that need to be focused on. So it's almost, you get you like this big old, just like a deck of cards, and you just throw them up in the air. Okay, find me a card. Find me the ace of spades, and you just got to dig through it and find it because there's so many cards. There's a lot of confusion because there's a lot of complications and there's a lot of issues. And then you have a lot of people giving opinions on what they think will solve the issue. Right now, you got this free agency and sporting stuff going on right now, right? Everybody's talking about what they think is going to happen here. The draft's going to come up. What's going to happen? Everybody giving their opinion. Everybody is giving their opinion of what they think will work. So when you got an abundance of issues, you're going to have an abundance of opinions. Even if you have one person that come up and say, okay, y'all bring me all y'all issues, we're going to start one by one. Even if you fix what you consider the worst thing, it's still going to be some other people to say, hey, that's not as bad as this, because there's so much stuff. But I also want to say it starts somewhere. It starts with something. No matter even if there's disagreement or whatever, it still starts with something somewhere.
Right. I want to say to that, like you brothers saying too, and like Vincent said, I agree with that. And we kind of discussed that when you wasn't on the show that day about religion is binding, but it's more also we start teaching more about concepts instead of just the rituals as much. We need both. But more about the concepts and ideas, because even when you look at the scriptures, that's what even Jesus was teaching more about concepts, about your heart, having your spirit into it. Some people do things, they do work, but they don't have their heart in it. We have sayings like that. But it's
Right.
like his heart wasn't in it.